So allow me to start this week's video on a more somber note. Yesterday I learned that my academic teacher and mentor, Professor Stemmler, passed away a couple of weeks ago, and I would like to say a few words about him here before I go on with our material. Here is Theo Stemmler, as I said, who passed away only a couple of weeks ago, without whom this channel wouldn't exist on historical linguistics, because everything I present here I owe to him. I'm plagiarizing him, and that's true. People keep on asking me, is there a book, the book you can recommend to read up on the material you're presenting here? And I always say, no, I can't, because I'm picking Theo Stemmler's brain. So everything I'm presenting here, I learned from him. And I remember when we first met, it was by accident, more or less. I was driving along a country road in the middle of the night and listening to the radio. And they had this program on Radio Club back in the 90s where they talked about issues of the day. And there was Theo Stemmler discussing Anglicisms, which means English words in the German language. A lot of people think they are contaminating the language. Young people embrace it, old people abhor it. I'm somewhere in the middle, and I thought his attitudes, opinions, very, very vital and intelligent. And so I stayed in my car even longer listening up to the program. And next week I went along the corridors of the university, and by accident I passed by his office. And there was a list, office hours outside, and I summoned up all my courage and signed my name in. And next day I went to his office hours, and he called me in. So, young man, what can I, was still young then, what can I do for you? And I said, very intimidated. Yes, I listened to your radio program last night, and it was very impressive. And I liked it a lot and wanted to tell you that. Oh, okay, thank you very much. It was like that. And then I said, yes, and there's another thing. I would like you to supervise my thesis. And I was studying economics in those days. And he asked me, so you're studying economics and you want me to supervise your thesis? So yes. What's your qualification? Okay, he asked me that. And I didn't know what to say. I know English. Everybody knows that. So no, I didn't say that. And then I came up with, yes, I know Latin and Greek. I have it, Latin and Greek. He said, all right, young man, here's your qualification. And this was the beginning of a very long relation. Yeah? And he supervised my thesis on the glottal stop in Cockney English. Okay, it's a bit crazy. I was crazy. Wanting to write a thesis on that, and he was just as crazy, I think, supervising it. But yes, we got along fine, and in the course of it, we had so many discussions. I attended so many of his courses and so on, that, yes, basically everything in historical linguistics I'm presenting here, I owe to him. Yeah, and I want to thank him posthumously here. Thank you very much. Yeah. As this, for example, here, the ly morpheme, which is the adverbial morpheme these days. And I remember Theo Stemmler discussing that with us, students, and me later on. Today it's an adverbial phoneme, but back in Old English it was a derivational morpheme. Forming adjectives from nouns. So this is the morpheme turning a noun into an adjective, originally. Freund Liedje, Freund the friend, freundliche, friendly, which you still have these days, and it's still productive as that. So manly, kingly, lovely, friendly, and so on, still productive as a derivational morpheme, but today it's more or less known to be the morpheme of the adverb. Okay, and in Middle English times, this thing must have been interpreted as an adverbial suffix, because Old English didn't mark its adverbs, neither does modern German. And you still can see that in Chaucer, who is by way of in a state of transition when he says about the nun. In French, she spake full fair and fetisly. And you see, she spoke French fairly and beautifully, we would say today, but he only puts the ly morpheme with the fetis, with the second one, not with the first. So, yes, he can still do both, using the ly as an adverbial or leaving it out. Today, you have to put it, of course. Okay, this is one thing which came to my mind, which I learned from Theo Stemmler. But let's turn to other suffixes we haven't talked about yet. The ing suffix, for example, which is bugging students of English up to the present day. It has two major functions, of course. A gerund, which is a noun, more or less, and as a present participle. And here you have the ocean. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. You see, and these are both uses of the ing suffix these days. First one being gerund, a noun, when the going gets tough, and the second one, a verb, they get going, or participle, to be more precise. True, So ing as noun formation, as we still have it in German. In German it's all right, but you still have it like that. For example, here, tidings of comfort and joy. Christmas is just over. Tiding. Okay. German Zeitung. Tide, time, and tiding. News, if you like, that which happens or betides. So noun formation, yes. As a participle, now it gets interesting. As a present participle, you originally had two morphemes in Old English, inge and ende. Two. The second one is still the common German suffix, singend, lachend, lebend, living, singing, laughing, and so on. So we still have it, as did Old English, and again, very appropriate, dedicating this video to Theo Stemmler, since I'm quoting Beowulf here, and he was one of the major experts on Beowulf. Theo Stemmler, on Beowulf, and he was an expert on everything, more or less, yes. But here, he gefäng släpende man. Okay, he grabbed the sleeping man. In German, you could still say schlafenden Mann. German, you still have that. In English, you don't. Or do you? That's the question here. So this is the one, and here you have, of course, the present participle ing, as in Seamus Heaney's digging, you see. So today there is no ende anymore, just take the final verse here, till his straining rump among the flower beds bends low, comes up 20 years away, stooping the rhythm through potato drills where he was digging. So all of that, of course, present participle, but ing, not ende. So what do we make of that? What you read mostly is that ing supplanted ende. This is the claim. So that the one persevered and the other disappeared. So, but I don't think that's true. I'm sure it's not true, because they both still exist. ing, and, ende. Yeah? And it still does the ende. Yeah? The ende, which we just had in Beowulf, still does exist as the in, usually spelled with an IN and an apostrophe, because people think it's G-dropping, which it is not, of course. But look at that. Yeah? Otis Redding here. I'm sitting on the dock of the bay watching the time roll away. I'm sitting on the dock of the bay wasting time. And so in substandard, you still have the ende, which is the in. So ende, in a way, was shortened, simplified, whatever, to in, and the ing still exists as ing. No, you have two. And for better or worse, the ende became the substandard, yeah, ende, substandard in, and the other one became the standard. But in substandard, you still have a lot of in. It's no G-dropping. G-dropping doesn't exist in English. Please, if people tell you that, just tell them wrong. It's not. Both still exist. Ende and inge. Ende becoming in, inge still ing. Okay, and there's another one. I mean, talking of ing, which I should mention here. This is ing as traditionally forming names and things as the people of. Yeah, if you like, a suffix which takes a proper name, and then if you add ing, it means the people of him. And here's again Beowulf, yeah, Scheffing, the descendant of Sheaf, yeah, a shield Scheffing in Beowulf, right at the beginning of Beowulf, he's mentioned, or Wolfing, yeah, the queen Wealhtheow in Beowulf, she is a descendant of Wolf, or the wolves, and therefore she is a wolfing, peace weaver, wolfing. This, if it just were for Beowulf, we could forget about this, but you still have it in loads and loads of place names these days. Yeah? If you have this Reading, for example, this is Readna's people. Yeah? The Reading. Readna, Reading, near London. Barking, same thing. Yeah, Berika's people, Barking, they live there. And even Nottingham. We know, I mean, there must have been a name, Snot. And Snotting were the people of Snot. And then the S was lost somewhere on the way. Okay. Same is true for Birmingham, Beorma, Beorma, and home of, Beorma's people. Okay, Beorma, Birmingham. You see, so it's a very old Germanic suffix. In the southwest of Germany, loads and loads of towns with ing. In England and all over the Germanic world. Okay. All right. This was that. Once again, thank you, Theo Stemmler, for what you taught me. For being responsible that I became an academic in the first place. I mean, without you, I'd do something entirely different. I'm sure I would. And thank you for that, posthumously. I mean, you need people who believe in you, your abilities, and he did that, believing that I could contribute something to scholarship, when everybody else thought, no way. I really thank you for that. Okay. Thank you. We'll take it from here.